Morena, everybody, and welcome to today's lesson. I thought it was high time that I gave you the joy of having me actually talking to you personally, because there are quite a lot of things that I want to bring to your attention. Now that many of you have finished working on your internal resubs, which were due last night, it's important for us to think about what we're doing as we move forward from here. I was genuinely impressed with the way that most of you engaged with the speech writing task. And although those scripts that you've prepared for me on Google Classroom can change, you don't have to say every single word on that page. In fact, I don't expect you to, because you will be memorizing it and it'll be off by heart. You have nevertheless got a really good plan for what your speech is going to be about and the sort of feel that you're going to have for your speech. So that's really great that most of you have done that. We are not going to be recording these and sending them in at the moment. The plan is to wait until we get back to class, even if that is at the beginning of term 4, which means that term 4, once we get back, is going to be full on. So I've done a couple of lessons with you on how to think about learning and preparing your speech, because the writing of it is only half the story. The other half of the story with your speech is actually knowing it well enough to present it properly, because reading it is simply not an option. I don't want to see cue cards. You may stand at the front and have a PowerPoint. In fact, I've recommended that you use PowerPoint if that's standing up in front of people is daunting, especially. It's just helpful to have something else there for people to look at, and you can use that to a certain extent to show you where you're going next. But I want you to think about actually delivering the speech completely without aid. That's what I want you to aim at. So there is a learning process involved. I know that motivation can be a struggle being locked down. Believe me, I understand that. But there is no better time to learn the speech and get it really familiar to yourself than to use this lockdown time to be starting to read it to yourself, start to make lists of what your points are, and start to make cue cards. So I'm actually going to put that up as tasks over the next few days, that you make some cue cards with the bullet points for your speech as a suggested way to prepare. And I also put a video on a few lessons back about tips to prepare. So use this time to prepare. Okay, let's just have a look at what's on the screen. Today you're obviously already doing a screencast lesson. Mark your answers to the short story, The Lottery Ticket. So I left that on for 2 days for you to have a look at, just to keep you reading, because unfamiliar text is all about reading and being familiar with texts. So you answer those in your own time. I'm also in the process of marking your common tests that you did before me. Actually, I was absent and Mr. Warner was there, I believe, just before lockdown. So that was your unfamiliar text common test. I'm in the process of marking those and should get those back to you over the next few days. What I've realized as I've marked them is that too many of you still don't know your stuff about language features. So here is a website. I'm going to click on it right now for you to have a look at. It's actually made for the unfamiliar text exam by NZQA, or somebody who is associated with the New Zealand, the NCEA qualification. And what it is this really good list of language features, and they're all in alphabetical order. And if you can't remember what these things mean, or you want an explanation, then you click on it. Metaphor is when one thing is like to be similar to another without using the words like or as. John is a real pig when he eats. And there's a few mildly humorous illustrations and things. It's a bit simplistic, but it gives you the basics on what all these things mean. So that your home page has some other things that you can look at, and these are all just in alphabetical order. So that's allegory down to euphemism, no, down to hyperbole, then the next lot down to litotes, and the bunch of these you don't need to know, but it's a really good way for you to start reminding yourself what these things are. Because if you don't name, quote, and explain language features in your unfamiliar text exam, you're not going to pass. You're not, a number of you are still not naming them correctly. You have to know what's in front of you. Okay, so back to our GrammarNet page. This is important. I've kept this on the page every single day, and I want to make sure you're actually seeing it and aware of it. All previous lessons, except for the one that's the day before, which is literally now straight underneath, so you can see what you are supposed to have been doing yesterday, or hopefully you did do it yesterday. But all of the other ones, that's the end of those lessons there. All of the other ones are in the archive. That's not that's not a link. You've got to click at the bottom here on View Archive, and then you've got the whole blog archive. Now it's now divided into 2 months, so this is only September's lot. If you want to go back, if you remember that there was something useful that was posted up in a lesson in August, you need to click on August, and then all the August ones come up. And I'm very much hoping that we will not still be doing this in October. But we can't count our chickens. Right, going back to here. No, going back to here. Okay, so finally on this page is some information about the current NCEA changes that are relevant to you. So they've pushed back examinations, and currently the English examination for level 3 English is on Wednesday, the December the 8th at 9:30. Okay, so that's 2 weeks later than it was going to be. This is obviously all still up in the air because we can't be sure quite what is happening. This is for you to read in your own time. This is the extra credits and things that they are offering, so please have a look at that. So, what I want to talk to you about ongoing is that we had a big staff meeting this morning, actually it was yesterday, about where we're going with the Term 3 exams. There are still going to be Term 3 exams for you to do, and these are going to be really, really important, because it may be that we cannot hold external exams at the end of the year. It may be, in which case we will, as a school, be required to come up with assessed grades for you, and we will be doing that on the basis of the exams that we've done during this year already. So we've had a Term 1 exam, we've had a Term 2 exam, and we are going to be doing a Term 3 exam, which looks like it's going to happen at home, not exactly online in terms of typing into the screen, but it's going to be happening at home and effectively online in our remote learning situation. And you're going to hear more about that quite soon. But what's important for you to know is that we are aiming at exams. And you will be sitting an exam where you have to write an essay on your film, The Prestige. You have to be writing an essay on your text, In My Father's Den, and you need to be doing the unfamiliar text paper, which is those 3 different questions on 2 different texts. So from here, now that our resub internals are out of the way and you've done your speeches, or at least you've got a good amount down, and your learning just has to be in your own time, we are moving on really focusedly doing some revision, and I want to be doing some revision on the Prestige to start with. So I've asked you over the last however many days to re-watch the Prestige. It's obviously just right down here. There it is. Easy to see. I forgot to put my 4th command for today down, and that is answering revision questions on the Prestige. So if you click on there, there will be not a very long list of questions to get you thinking and to remind you about the film, because it's really important that you start taking on board the fact that we're not stopping. We're just continuing to go, and if these exams are important for your futures, which I believe they are, then you have to actually get with us and do this revision and use what I give you over these next few days and well, hopefully not too many weeks, but start doing some sensible revision. Okay, reminder as well that on our page we've got the film study folder. If you click on that, there's quotes, we're going to be looking at essays a little bit later down the line, and you'll be doing me a revision essay on the film. But these are the main Prestige slides, which have got all that teaching material that we did at the beginning of the year. So start to familiarise yourself with those and use these to help you answer the questions that I've asked you to do today, which are not too many. Hopefully just they're enough to get you thinking about the film and back into that mode of actually, revising the film. Okay, I think that's enough from me. Thank you for those of you who are keeping in touch. I really don't mind, and I don't mind you emailing me at strange times. I will email you back if I feel like it, or if I'm not having a break, even if it's in the evenings. Email is definitely the best way to get hold of me. Commenting on Google Classroom is also quite good because that's connected to my email. I might be a bit slower to pick up comments actually on the GrammarNet dashboard, but keep in touch. I'm willing to help you, and kia kaha.